listening even when the vestry said that is how it should be. May God continue blessing you. Our team this side that is making things happen, the machines, thank you, especially. Like our first day would have mentioned, our worship, the climax of worship. Those who were there on Wednesday will agree with me that we had a fire-packed Vesper moment with Muunga. Where's Chris? Wonderful. That was our preacher. And thank you very much. When she read from Revelation 1, verse 8, the Alpha and the Omega, never heard Jesus preached from that dimension. And I'm sure all of us who were there were just taken to another world. And she spoke to us. We could hear the Holy Spirit speaking which one of us. Yesterday, I couldn't attend the Vespers. I was on a panel. There was a live program on Adventist World Radio. Pastor from Zimbabwe and another pastor from somewhere. So the program started at 18 to 20 hours. I couldn't join the Vesper program. But from the report, told with a singing from Ray of Light, preacher whom I listened to sometime last year, it was a wonderful experience. This Wednesday, our brother here, Minda Zida, will be taking us. And we're looking forward to another fire-packed moment where God speaks to his children. So we invite you to come over here. Friday, like it was announced, we have a Chilenje choir, church choir. Please, you're most welcome. Come and be here. The Lord has what blessings for you. I also must announce that next month, March, be with you, will be in the children's chapel. Month, just be that side. How many parents have got children there? Thank you very much. So we'll be making some requests, maybe writing, crayons, and get your cooperation. So next month you won't be seeing me. If you want to be seeing me, just come over that side. And then that is for morning and afternoon programs. I'll be that side. This is 11:36. 12 hours we shall close. Lunchtime. Is that all right? Thank you. Anything wrong I said? Thank you. Just pray with me when I'll be with the children that I don't hear what I want to preach to the children, where I said, the first 5 minutes, and then he said, you are boring. So I'm praying very hard that in the 1 month that I'll be on that side, no child will say that. But if one will say that, I'll come back here. So pray for me. I must also confess that I don't know. I was told by a friend of mine, frankly, one place in Kabwe, you don't know how to preach, you know how to teach. So what we are presenting here is a lesson. Is that all right? So please, even if I don't sweat, I'm serious. And the lesson here we have already sent to our first elder and the church clerk. It will be posted on our pages. But you can still write note, wish to do so. This is a Stewardship Month. The afternoon we shall have a study titled Falling in Love with Jesus. God cannot accept any relationship with a human being based on love. God cannot accept any service from anyone which is based on love. Nothing. Your coming here, my coming here must be based on one thing. And I could hear that from the song from the Ray of Light, Serving God. So in the afternoon, we're looking at pouring in love. Then out the time to have season, talking to and laying our burdens. Prayer request. Bring it, send it. Study. Lessons from COVID-19. Lesson COVID-19. I invite you to the book of 9, verse 10. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, we shall read verse 10. Ecclesiastes 9, verse 10 reads as follows. Ecclesiastes is the Old Testament. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 10 reads, whither, whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead, where you are going, there is neither working, planning, knowledge, wisdom. Ecclesiastes 9. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead, where you are going, there is neither working, planning, knowledge, wisdom. The COVID pandemic was a global crisis that affected every aspect of life. It brought sickness. It brought loss, fear, uncertainty. But it also provided deep lessons. And the words that we find in the book 9, verse 10 reminds us that life is short and certain. And we must make the most of every opportunity. And through this lesson, we want to explore the key lessons COVID-19 based on Ecclesiastes 9, verse 10. What is the first lesson that we can pick from? The agent's purpose. The agents of purpose. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. COVID-19, how does life change suddenly? Life can change suddenly. Many people had plans for the future. Death interrupted. This reminds us that we should not delay purpose. COVID-19 told us like, suddenly, everything's upside down. Suddenly, you are told that you can't go to church. When you go to church, mask. You are going for work. You are going everywhere. You have to put a mask. And then you talk about those that were bombarded. The number of people who are getting a day every day. Life was interrupted. Our businesses were interrupted. Businesses were closed. And from that, we need to use our time. From that, we need to use our time wisely. The pandemic showed us that time is precious. We must serve God, love others, and feel calling without delay. We must love others. We must serve God and fulfill calling without delay. Because tomorrow, too late. Commit to excellence. Whether in work, in ministry, relationships, we should give our best. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Live with intention. The uncertainty of life should push us to live with focus, making every moment count. God's growth. Meaning, whatever you do, there should just be one purpose. It should be done, glory and honor of God, no more. And the question that we may pose, are you actively pursuing God's purpose? Are you waiting for a better time? Like we said, there are people who had a lot of plans, who had great plans for the pandemic, but those plans were put upside down. People died. Those people who died, great plans for their families, for their businesses, for their companies, those plans. Question that comes to mind, are you better than, am I better than those? There are some people who died of that, better than. You have time to make a reflection of that. What did it? That you were spared. The reality of mortality. For in the realm of death, where you are going, in the realm of death where you are going. We had an uncle in Muunga, and this man had said, for me, death has been, I will not die. In our local language, you would say, "Uhu ndagaruwa bambuli bola." You know how a goalkeeper gets the ball? And he says, that's how important death. It is under my control. I will not die. 20 years. He died. Where you are going, that's what the wise man is saying. Whatever your hands finds to do it with all your might, because where you are going in the grave is nothing. The pandemic was a sobering reminder that death is real and inevitable. It's real. You can't avoid it. Each time I'm attending it, I'm reminded of one thing. One day, people back. One day, it's me. Those brochures, those programs that we send. One day, it will be you. It will be your funeral program. One day, it will be a funeral program. We will have died. Death. Real. During the pandemic, many were unprepared, both physically. But the book of Ecclesiastes, from the verse that we read, that reality. Be spiritually ready. The pandemic showed us that we should always be prepared to meet. If Jesus came now, how would he find you? If Jesus came now, would you welcome him? Men lost loved ones unexpectedly. We must cherish the people around us, giving and loving. We must cherish the people who have got children. Then it is just my children can irritate. But one day, they will leave that. And you will remember that those moments that you spend yelling, shouting, you will remember. Because those tablecloths that you are caring for, that no one touch them. Yeah. Sometimes you wonder, which world should they should not go to the kitchen, sitting room, they should not be anywhere. There's one time when the government postponed the opening of schools, and parents were sending on Facebook, we made the programs already, let them go. We are programmed that they'll be away from home, so let them go. Friends, we need to value relationship. One day I had gone for Orchestra somewhere outside Lusaka. It was Tango at school. Then I was there for 1 week. When I came back, Then he was his coding. He went with there in the bedroom. Yeah, everything out. Mattress, blankets were inside, the bed sheets that side, cloth, everything dropped, hangers and everywhere. Then I looked at me. Said, Daddy, sing up bedroom. Just hugged him. Life continues. What are we saying? One day was irritation. Let us people. COVID also told us that sick, eternal. COVID, material things can be lost in an instant, but a relationship with Christ was our eternal. Material things can be lost in an instant, but a relationship with Christ is secure. You saw in Europe during the pandemic how people were throwing money, cash on the street. We have money, it does not works out. The people who died more in Europe and in America, they developed where they have got the best of whatever you can talk about medical, whatever breakthrough, they have got the best. But in terms of death, they were leading. With all the money, with all the machines, with all the doctors, they were dying in numbers. And they started throwing money. Material things lost in an instant. But a relationship with Christ secures our eternal future. If your life ended today, would you be ready to meet God? If your life ended today, my life ended today, the last lesson, the importance of faith over the importance of faith is neither working wisdom, is neither working. COVID-19 brought widespread fear, but it also tested us. While precautions were necessary, we were reminded that our ultimate faith was tested. You are a pastor. You can't reach the people. Minister. They can't also. There was a lot of faith tested during. Did you know that some people stopped worshiping during COVID up to now? Some people have not gone. Because it was a serious test of our faith. Can we still hold on to God? Trust in God's sovereignty, even in crisis. The question that comes when people are dying in numbers in America, in Europe, and everywhere, where was God? He was on the loving. Stay rooted in prayer. Fear can paralyze. Faith moves us. Pray and seek God's. Stay rooted. We said in the afternoon, we're looking at end with a season. Because when you are in love with God, pray in a different. People who are in love communicate in a different. They look at each other in a different. They talk to each other in a different. COVID taught us that we need to be rooted here. Because fear paralyzes, but faith moves us to pray God's guidance. Help others in need. Instead of fearfully isolating ourselves, we are called to be a light and show Christ's love through acts of kindness. That's our baptismal class. One of the that we looked at in the fruit of the Spirit. That is from Galatians chapter 5, verse 20. And that fruit, one of the attributes that we find there is gentleness, love, joy. We cultivate those. When he is now, you show. Are you living by faith or you are living by? How do we conclude our conversation? Living with purpose after COVID. The pandemic changed the world, but we must not forget the lessons. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10 calls us to live with agents, acknowledge our mortality, place. Let us commit serving God wholehearted. Let us commit serving God and all God calls us to. All our mind, with all our soul, with all our everything, with our all. So that when we still in the grave, we can't. Let us commit to living each day gratitude. Let us commit to living each day with purpose. Saying it, thank you. I was at Leopards few more some years ago. When I was at the there, I was behind the board. Then I told the cashier that I'll pay for it for the. Then the cashier told these two, he has paid. Guess what? Then I turned to the cashier. Say, I'm not. Don't be mistaken that I'm a very good man. No. Then that this generation doesn't know how to say thank you. It doesn't. It is a generation that doesn't care. You do whatever you do and go your way. We need to learn each day with gratitude, saying thank you to God. You have got another day among the living. The way we are here, lying in the cold, in mortuary, day and now. Someone is being rolled to the mortuary. Someone has just been pronounced dead. Go to Memorial Park. Go to Leopards Hill Cemetery. How many people are being lowered to the grave now? In the 100. Some people are bedridden. Life. You and I need to then thank you. Trust in God. Turn it. May we never take life for granted. Give every day. Fully. The appeal this morning. Would you like to commit your life? Do you want to commit your life? Is your hand prayed? We can sing.